so we're running just as fast as we can, holding on to one another's hand, trying to get away into the night. And then you put your arms around me and we tumble to the ground. And then you say, I think we're alone now. There doesn't seem to be anyone around. I think we're alone now. The beating of our hearts is the only sound. Look at the way we gotta hide what we're doing. 'Cause what would they say if they ever knew? And so we're running just as fast as we can, holding on to one another's hands, trying to get away into the night. And then you put your arms around me and we tumble to the ground. And then you say, I think we're alone now. There doesn't seem to be anyone around. I think we're alone now. The beating of our hearts is the only sound. I think we're alone now. Doesn't seem to be anyone around. I think we're alone now. The beating of our hearts is the only sound. I think we're alone now. There doesn't seem to be anyone around. I think we're alone now. The beating of our hearts is the only sound. I think we're alone now. There doesn't seem to be anyone around. I think we're alone now. The beating of our hearts is the only sound. I think we're alone now. There doesn't seem to be anyone around. I think we're alone now.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. We are back after a hiatus, after a break. Last week I was running around New York City with Ace the Kid. I'm sure you saw on Twitter. It was a great time. Met a bunch of other traders, which was cool. Met one of the biggest traders, TJR Trades, really randomly. Very fun. And I ended up getting sick. So I've been sick for the past few days. Hence the no. Wanted to start streaming again on like Monday, but I've just been dealing with this sickness. Getting a little bit better now. It's not that bad, but it's low energy. And yeah, there's a decent amount of stuff going on. We just got the craziest rally that the market has seen since 2021. Like 4 days we gapped up in a row. Bitcoin's on this run. It's getting to be a fun time in the market right now. I'm going to talk about everything going on. We've also had some earnings this week. AMC just reported earnings. It's kind of flat after the close. It did spike up to $11 initially though. Fisker was supposed to report earnings in the morning, then I think they delayed it a week, and stock sold off to all-time lows. With that, Roblox reported, Affirm reported today, Twilio reported today. Tomorrow, Unity and the Trade Desk report. We had some other names like Clover, Rivian, and Uber. So we're getting pretty much towards the end of this earnings season now, and safe to say that we've seen actually really good earnings on a lot of different stocks for this past quarter. So we're going to be starting off with crypto, which is pretty hot right now. Bitcoin, if we get onto lower time frames, it broke out. So you had that 35.1k level. I've been talking to Mitch Ray about it, and I was looking for it when we initially broke it yesterday. I shared some Mara calls and premium. They went up about 20%, but then Bitcoin went all the way back down. It pretty much went up to 36k, which was your high from November 1st. Then it came back down to 35.1k, and it flipped this resistance from the end of October into a support. And now as we speak, you're testing the breakout again. I think you should clear 36k pretty shortly on Bitcoin. I think Mara's up like 5% after hours, right? It's kind of lagging a little bit. but this could be the $36,000 breakout for Bitcoin. And if we go over to the daily, I don't really see much resistance after 36K until about 39K, which is some levels from 2021. So very, very nice move for Bitcoin. Of course, this started on the weekly with the bullish cipher I was talking about for like a year, and now it's beautifully playing out. And I did share a swing trade setup in the Discord for everybody on Ethereum. Just set up an alert. Smooth, like while I'm live on stream. I did share a swing trade on Ethereum, which is sitting nicely in profit. Broke out of the 200-day moving average, broke out of this wedge. In Ethereum, it's up about 8% since I alerted the swing. First target's at 2011, which is kind of this high from the July, right? Quickly looking into other markets, the US 10-year, while the market's been rallying, this has been doing pretty rough. And actually, it's all started off this tweezer top I mentioned a couple weeks back on the stream. Had this tweezer top, and since then, the US 10-year has had its probably largest pullback in a while. Pulled back about 10%, so a little bit of a correction here. For bonds, they got very hot, probably too hot for a little bit. The VIX also getting crushed back down to the bottom of this historical zone we've seen since COVID. If you want to take a look at short-term bonds, the US 2-year also failed to break that 5.11% resistance level. All right, gold pulling back. So we're seeing a lot of these other asset classes, which were actually doing decent during the market sell-off, starting to dollar currency index got a slight move off this wedge. That's really what's going on in other markets. Let's talk about the stock market. I just want to do a quick stream tonight. I'm not feeling too well. I just want to, break the ice with a little return stream so I can also stream tomorrow. And let's talk about what's going on. So before I took this hiatus, I talked about this bullish bat, right? In that 411 level. I had it charted out, 411, okay? That level, really zoom back, was our lows from the end of February 2022. I think this was the exact day that Russia was invading Ukraine, and it was all over the headlines, and you got like a 4% move up intraday in the morning. It's 411. We actually bounced again off that same exact level, all right, at the end of October. And since then, the S&P has seen 7% incline. So that bullish bat's been playing out. Okay, if we go over to the 4-hour chart, this is what I want to talk about now. Let's turn off extended hours. This is the level you're currently testing, all right? It's pretty much this gap fill from the gap down on September 21st. We put in a whole entire week of highs here in October, and now you're testing it yet. And you also have hidden bearish divergence on the 4-hour for the SPY. If we go over to the 1-hour chart now, you can really see that this is our current resistance zone. SPY's pulled back a little bit after hours, and this is the resistance for the SPY right now. I'm back to short-term bearish on the SPY. Maybe we can go and fill some of these gaps unless we break above this resistance. But as long as we're under this resistance, it's a big level, all right? So you could start to pull back at this level. And if we break above it, yeah, sure, the rally can continue. But we're at the point where it's better to be safe than sorry, in my opinion, and there's a higher likelihood of pulling here, at least a little bit, before maybe even breaking it in the future. And as I'm speaking, we actually just got the alert that I set up. Bitcoin has now touched $36,000 for the first time since May of 2020. It's a little bit under it now, but it just got that spike above very quietly on 5 minutes. It's pulling back, some sellers there. That's cool. That happened live on stream. 36K on Bitcoin, first time of this rally. Very interesting. Go back over to the market though. So that's really what I'm watching on SPY. What's really interesting about the QQQ, however, is it broke out. We have this like longer term bull flag on the daily. It had that triple classic bullish divergence I mentioned. Got the beautiful rally, and this broke out of two very big levels this week. One, it broke out of this upper trend line. We also got above this 370-ish zone. Okay, you can see resistance here, over here, over here. If we go back in time, there was resistance here in March of 2022. And the QQQ is actually broken above that resistance. If this were to play out on a weekly, this should in turn send you to new highs of the year. I don't know if it's going to happen in 2023. Maybe it takes until January of next year. But a pattern like this is very big, very real. It's a bullish pattern in a bull trend. Technically speaking, it should go higher. So what's really interesting about this is you're at resistance on the SPY, but you broke out on the QQ. Maybe if that SPY resistance plays out and you start pulling back, what you could potentially see around the Qs is a back test of the breakout, which is what I would like to see. You could maybe go and back test that breakout and then head higher. So that's really what it's looking like on the Qs. The Russell 2000 it's being a little bit weird. You did end up holding that 163 support level, which you broke for like half a day. You ended up bouncing off of it, and now you're retesting this 170-ish zone. I have the yellow zone, but you also back tested the breakdowns. It's a very choppy, confusing chart right now, but the moral of the story is if you can keep holding 163, you're okay, right? Now we have the ARK ETF, bounce off the 35 support, classic bullish divergence playing out. It's just testing the 200. That's really it for the market. Just note the SPY is at resistance and that the Qs broke out, and you could potentially pull back for a couple of days before going higher. It's the easiest forecast. I don't know if that's going to happen for sure, but that's pretty much what's going on. All right. In terms of the swings, Mara is up 5% after hours. It got pretty close to the stop, but never hit it, and now it's up 5% after hours. It's still holding above this important support at 860-ish. Riot, it was in profit for the past few days, but then it pulled back to $10.16 is an important level. It's holding that. And we already talked about Ethereum. Let's just talk about some random charts really quickly now. Apple broke out of this wedge. It's been playing out very nicely. I shared Apple calls earlier in the week in premium, and those are up a lot since then. Let's just look at some large caps. Netflix, that post earnings announcement drift, it had a good earnings and it's drifting in the same direction, right? Most stocks tend to do that, and it is moving higher. Tesla, really good stuff here. It's trying to recapture the 200-day moving average after holding this historical support zone. You do have this upside gap to fill at 242. Google gapped down on earnings, but is actually now reversing. It's got a gap fill at 138. Microsoft, it's kind of like a cup and handle, believe it or not. Microsoft cup and handle, it is almost at all-time high. Can you believe? So Microsoft is testing an all-time high breakout with this cup and handle. Amazon, this looks more like an inverse head and shoulders over here. It's not broken out yet. But if this crosses 146, then maybe it has room to like 178, which is its previous range before the sell-off. AMD broke out of a wedge, playing out. MU kind of broke out of this inverse very quietly. It's another name that's kind of been lagging behind to a lot of other tech names. This is a very real breakout, something I'm keeping an eye on. AI rejected the 200-day moving average, but still kind of flirting with it. And then DraftKings, beautiful move on earnings, continuing higher. Next resistance for DraftKings is like $40. Broke out of the symmetrical triangle on that earnings. So that's pretty much what's going on in the market. Roblox did move up 11% today. After earnings, it crossed back above the 200-day moving average and the $37 level of resistance. We also had Affirm come out with earnings after hours. It's up 10% after hours. It's at this blue line. I don't really know if you can see it, but you can see this blue number that's post. Affirm higher after hours. Again, Fisker delayed their earnings, and it's now under $4 for the first time in history. Short term, it's not a good looking chart. I said this weeks ago and I remain the same. There's no support here. I already said this. Long term, I think this is a steal at $4. I could be wrong, but that's really as simple as it is. Okay. AMC also reported earnings today. It's only down 1% after hours. It actually initially spiked up 10% after hours to $11. Actually, I'm still sitting in some AMC calls. Don't expire until next week. I think as long as it can continue to hold this low it put in literally today, right around $10, it looks okay technically. If that breaks, then it's not great. However, it is making higher highs and higher lows. The trend is starting to shift. All right, some of your earnings. Yeah, I just wanted to do a quick stream. Literally, it's only been 15 minutes to talk about just a flash update in what's happening in the market right now. And it looks very interesting. So hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, join the Discord. Thank you for watching the stream. I'm going to be doing a lot of streams this month. Really a little bit of a location switch. I'm not in the city this month, and just going to be going super hard on the trading and the streams, and look forward to all of that. I just want to do a quick one for tonight. There's going to be a lot of awesome long streams throughout the month. All right, have a great night, everybody. I'll see you tomorrow.